What's going on, internet? Today we're going to try to answer a question. Should you buy the Sony ZV-E10 or the A6400, which are basically cousin cameras with so many similar features, and YouTubers promoting this as a vlogging budget camera. The Sony ZV-E10 is a slightly updated A6400 with removal of EVF and named as part of the ZV series, although it's definitely a member of the A6000 family. The concept is very similar to how the A7 III and A7C are cousin cameras with similar features. And for the record, I do think the ZV-E10 or full frame equivalent will eventually make it to the market, hopefully with the next generation baseline sensor that does 4K 60. Just thinking out loud just in case Sony is watching or needs help with ideas. Let's go straight to the similarities. 24.2 exmor CMOS sensor, ISO 100 to 32,000, up to 51,200 and 102,400 extended range for the ZV-E10 and A6400 respectively. And please don't do that. Max 14000 shutter speed, hybrid AF with 425 tracking points, real-time tracking, 11 frames per second of continuous shooting with CAF, 4K video up to 30p from 6K oversampling with full pixel readout and no binning, 420 internal recording, full HD up to 120p, S-Log2, S-Log3 and HLG profiles, NP-FW50 batteries. Shame they didn't go the Z100 route as video is taxing on batteries, and this being marketed as a vlogging camera. Battery is rated around 400 shots or 80 minutes of video.
If I missed anything, be sure to shame me in the comments.
Those are the similarities. Now let's look at the differences. EVF versus larger LCD. If you thought these Sony screens were small, A6400 screen is really small and due to the 16:9 aspect ratio, even smaller in practice. The EVF panel on the A6400 is 2 million dots, suitable for the price point. I've been using EVS less often because I don't like shooting in harsh light, so it's not a major factor for me. Gyro data and electronic stabilization, the crop factor is too high in my opinion, 1.4x, and Catalyst Browse has a lot of flaws. No batch processing. Currently, the potential is not being fully realized. It's my opinion. Button layout. You would think the A6400 would have a slight advantage with the AF/MF switch and mode dial. However, the recording button is frustrating and can drive you to insanity. The zoom rocker on the ZV-E10 is a nice touch for video users who have electronic lenses, handy for smooth zooming. Size. 343 grams versus 403 grams is significant. I used to think the A6400 was ridiculously small, but then I saw the ZV-E10, it's even smaller. The ZV-E10 compared to the A6400 is 4% narrower, 4% shorter, 25% thinner, and 15% lighter. We're talking about meaningful amounts less thick, less tall, and less wide. Essentially the Asians of cameras. That was totally unnecessary. Autofocus is mostly the same. The ZV-E10 does IAF in video, which is a minor upgrade in my opinion. Both cameras have real-time tracking, and that is about as good as it gets. Additional improvements will be minor upgrades. Product showcase mode. Product showcase mode is a gimmick if you're not into that thing. And if you are, it's really nice, it does the job, and it's much more straightforward than turning off eye face detect and changing your AF to center zone. Much more user-friendly and intuitive. Nice implementation by Sony. Soft skin mode is akin to a Facebook filter. Sure, why not? No harm, no foul, and it shows computational video may be in Sony's future. If they can do soft skin, they can possibly do filtering, which people are willing to use filters for. How about motion blur to replicate the 180 shutter rule? Next up is the screen fully articulating versus flip up. I like the flip up screen of the A6400 better than the fully articulating screen because it's not often I'm in front of the camera like this, and it's quick and efficient. Where I find the fully articulating screen more useful is for video and portrait orientation photos. My main gripe with the fully articulating screen is that I often use these cameras with a small bag, and the time and effort it creates every time I use it is annoying as people who walk really slow to cross the street. The parallax problem with the offset screen tends to throw off my framing since the lens is not centered when looking at the screen. Like I said, most of the time I'm camera operator rather than on-screen talent, which I totally lack. All these differences are based on personal preference. Regardless of which you choose, both screens will have their own benefits and drawbacks. Flash versus lack of flash. This can be really useful in a pinch. Winner in this category is the A6400. The ZV-E10 has better all-around audio. The 3-capsule mic with wind muff can make a little or a lot of difference depending on where you use your mic, and I find the 3-capsule mic is usable with some tweaks in post. The ZV-E10 offers compatibility with the digital ECM-B1M. However, analog mode in the A6400 will work just as well. Recording signals, small recording letters versus all-screen outline and tally lamp. Big difference. Doubling up on the record button to completely miss the shot is a real thing. That delay and lack of feedback causes these problems. Having a prominent indicator is invaluable. Body differences. A6400's weather resistance is nice, but not many APS-C lenses have the same level of resistance, and that feature is only as good as its weakest link. The ZV-E10 is improved with USB-C, headphone jack, and streamlined side lugs. No more flopping noisy connectors. Streaming, the ZV-E10 does video and audio through USB-C, while the A6400 does video only. Audio is separate. Background defocus, aka wide open mode. For those who don't know, you can use aperture priority and open the aperture all the way instead of assigning this function for a camera with limited custom buttons. I feel this feature was a little bit more useful on the ZV-1 because it also controlled the electronic ND. Finally, the biggest difference between the two cameras is the price. The ZV-E10 comes in at $699 compared to the A6400 at $899. That is substantial. $200 is a good amount for a budget camera. That money can be spent on other photo video needs such as a tripod or lenses for the system. And it begs the question, what camera should you buy? For what seems to be a slightly better camera in many ways, I would probably choose a Sony ZV-E10. It makes better sense. The price discrepancy is a bit much for the EVF and pop-up flash, and you lose some key features which make life a little bit nicer, like recording indicators, a bigger LCD, slightly improved weight, and arguably better button layout. Keep in mind these are budget cameras, and from $700 to $900 it's significant. However, if you have to have the EVF or pop-up flash, then the A6400 or even the A6100 is the de facto choice. Let me know in the comments which you would choose and why. Thanks for watching. Please like, sub, share. See you on the next one.